Welcome to SVGTV's news for Friday, September the 4th, 2020. I am Bhavin Olver with the details. All schools are expected to reopen on Monday, September the 7th, 2020. So says Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Mikkel Burke, who was reporting on the status of the reopening of schools at a press conference today. Burke said thermometers and washable masks has already been distributed and Braxa has installed additional hand washing stations. He added that security and individual protocols have been introduced at all schools.
For schools to look at the individualized protocols, they were given the general protocols, but because situations at each school is different and the uniqueness of schools, we saw it fit that schools use the week to work with their teachers, with their staff on the individualized protocols. We saw this as critical. You may note as well that there's a communication from the Royal St. Vincent Grenadines Police Force. So we have been in dialogue with them. How can we ensure the safety of our students? How they can assist in ensuring that our students are comfortable.
Chief Education Officer Elizabeth Walker said that schools are adequately staffed and that consultation with teachers on protocols have been fruitful. Walker said they are aware that some schools have large populations, hence it is up to the schools to make the necessary changes that will work well for students, teachers and parents. She noted that psychosocial support for teachers will also be provided.
And we have different levels of engagement. At the level of the school, we have the counselors. At the level of the Ministry of Education, we have the Curriculum Development Unit. There is also the Student Support Services. All of these entities were activated in response to supporting the fears and anxieties that students would have, parents would have, teachers would have. The Student Support Services, they're also engaging parents. In that regard, there's a hotline which was established before, and that continues. Also, we are in discussions with UNICEF in what is called the Return to Happiness program, and presently we are establishing workshops that would provide support to teachers who can in turn provide that support to the parents.
Meanwhile, additional persons were employed such as cleaners and janitors, and every school will have a daytime security guard. Minister of Education Sinclair Prince said he is satisfied with the readiness of schools and that teachers and parents are on board with the protocols, including the testing of temperatures.
To cover all the bases to ensure that when we go to school on Monday, things are in place. This is a special period. I keep saying this. It is a special period. Therefore, we need special interventions and special responses. It does not work as usual. So, if you are in a situation where the entire world has turned upside down, how do we deal with it? It can't be that we continue as usual. It can't be that people say that you're not trained to press a button and take a temperature. It can't be that you say that it's not part of your job description. There are so many things that are not part of your job description. I am heartened though that the majority of the teachers don't think this way. And the majority of parents don't think this way either. And come Monday, teachers will see that it is an easy thing to do, to just press a button and record a temperature. And we move on to the main core thing, which is teaching and learning.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education issued a release this afternoon stating that parents and guardians of students attending the Buckamet Bay Secondary School to know that the school will reopen on Wednesday, September the 9th, 2020. The ministry said the continued closure is to facilitate necessary cleaning work. And as part of precautionary measures, the Ministry of Health is advising that parents check their children's temperature before leaving home. Speaking at the Ministry of Education's press conference today, Health Promotions Officer Shanika John said that they have been working with teachers on the health protocols. She said due to the school and home being made primary bubbles and where outside of the bubbles will put children at risk, hence the need for parents to cooperate in checking the temperatures of children before leaving home.
That before your child leaves home, that he or she, their temperature should be checked. And this does not have to be with a non-touch thermometer. It can be one of the very simple ones that you put under your arm, and you can ask the child to make this his or her routine before they leave school. The temperature is checked, and once there is an elevation in the temperature, we ask parents to keep the child at home. If you send your child to school and the school picks up an elevated temperature, the child is then placed in a holding area for further assessment by the Ministry of Health. And we stress this specifically because we know that parents have an urgency or a need to just want to go to school and pick up their child and take their child home. So this is extremely important in this particular phase of the reopening, to understand that it must be a collaborative effort.
As it regards to physical distancing at schools, John said that it is not compulsory.
In this particular phase, we're not saying that schools should not practice physical distancing. If schools, some teachers and principals have said that they are going to do it because they have the space to do it. And we said, by all means, if this works for you, that's fine. We're not saying that it shouldn't, and we're not saying that it is something that is compulsory. In this instance, we're asking everyone within the school their temperature be checked. That's for teachers, students, and other staff members as well, whether it's from the tuck shop, etc. If there's an elevated temperature, the Ministry of Health will come in. We will do further assessments, and then we would advise.
Further, the Ministry of Health has offered to screen teachers with rapid tests. Meanwhile, opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday is proposing to reduce student loans by 4.5% if his party is voted into office in the upcoming general elections. He said the current interest rate of 8.5% is one of the highest across the region, and they propose to use funds from Citizenship by Investment program. He said the monies from CBI will go to Development Bank to support students with cheaper student loans.
Rate of 8.5% for such loans is one of the highest in the region, and our plan for jobs and growth will reduce this. For example, student loans in Barbados are at an interest rate of 5.5%. In Antigua, it is 3%. Grenada and Dominica also have lower rates than we do. Using the funds from our Citizenship by Investment program, we will put money in our development bank to support our students with cheaper loans. We have a target interest rate of 4.5%, which is achievable and will nearly half the interest payments our students and our young graduates pay now.
He added that the students with existing student loans will also have the option to refinance. He also noted that the CBI project will create the opportunity for long-standing job projects and health care.
Foreigners already invest in hotels, but we want the funds invested in the CBI to be invested in long-lasting job-creating projects, in health care, and in our next generation. Investing in our people, creating jobs and opportunities makes sense and puts our country on the path to a brighter future. With your support, we can get St. Vincent and the Grenadines working again.
4,141 local farmers who were affected by the drought conditions and the COVID-19 pandemic has registered for financial assistance from the government. On radio this week, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said the farmers will receive $500, which should have commenced this week.
That there are one or two areas where people have not, all the persons hadn't registered by then. So this number may well reach up to 5,000. And we are going to give them an initial payment of $500. The farmers, the names are supposed to come en masse to cabinet, hopefully today, and for them to get payment individually, the Accountant General is going to require that the cabinet approves as a formal matter.
PM Gonzalez said farmers have been receiving support in various forms, including the sale of products from the Love Box initiative. He said that this has been a success story for all farmers, as there were more than 10,000 Love Boxes distributed thus far.
The farmers are doing pretty well off the Love Boxes, you know, because up to 2 weeks ago, when I got a list in, we had done over 10,000 Love Boxes. In fact, I feel a little bit for those traffickers who can't get the dash in them and the yam and get other produce, because the farmers are getting a good price from the Love Boxes, and they're getting their money. They deliver. Nobody's telling them, well, they went Trinidad and the thing spoiled, and you know, all kind of story, and they gotta wait till the next shipment, and they're doing pretty okay from it.
This country for many years has shared an excellent relation with the peoples of India, and yesterday, with the launch of the Honorary Consulate of India and the installation of President of the SVG Indian Heritage Foundation, Junior Bacchus, this relationship is expected to grow even closer. Bacchus is well known for his work in promoting a closer relationship with the people of India, as well as highlighting and preserving the history and culture of the people of India through the Indian Heritage Foundation. Accepting the post, Bacchus pledged to work hard towards preserving and improving the close relationship between the two nations, and is honored to be the first honorary consul to the Republic of India.
Sincerely thank our Ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Mahendra Singh Kanal, for the confidence he has shown in me to make this recommendation for the President of India to confer this honor to me, and reposing his trust and confidence to nominate and appoint me to be the first honorary consul for the Republic of India to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I therefore commit to execute with legal authority and by all lawful means to aid and protect Indian merchants and other Indian citizens who may trade with or visit or even reside here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Many thanks to all of you who are here today. Your presence here is a recognition of your love for both countries and the commitment to continue this bond and partnership.
Also speaking at the ceremony was Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sir Louis Straker, who said that many persons of Indian descent have worked hard to help develop SVG.
We have shared your labors, your sorrows, your tears, and you have blended it all to make this country your home and a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You have made outstanding contribution to this country in the field of law, education, business, culture, social development. And this country is the richer for your presence here and your contribution that you have made. And we trust that as we work together to build our country, we would deepen the bond of friendship, not only with those who are here, but those of our brothers and sisters in India that we have not yet met. We trust that they would join us here and that they would find friendship, fellowship, and a warm welcome here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The Foreign Affairs Minister said India has contributed tremendously to the economy of SVG and is looking forward to a closer relationship with the Asian country.
Central Windward are very grateful that the Indian government has seen fit to donate such a large sum for the arrowroot industry in order to have this industry go on a better footing and create employment here for many of our people. We are a member of the United Nations Security Council, elected last year, June. And India was elected last June of this year to begin its term of office in January 2021. So we would have 1 year working with India in the United Nations Security Council. And we trust that we would find many areas of cooperation where we can work together as we seek to broaden the network and strengthen the friendship, lengthen the cords, and strengthen the steel for our two countries.
Meanwhile, in his first act as Honorary Consul of SVG to the Republic of India, Junior Bacchus handed over $100,000 worth of medical supplies to the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment. Receiving the supplies on behalf of the ministry was Minister of Health Luke Brown. The Health Minister congratulated the newly appointed Consul General and considered the donation as relevant and appropriate for the times.
The whole objective is to gather together to show support for Junior Bacchus as he takes up this important mantle on behalf of both the government of India and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I'd like you to show him some appreciation, please. It is a signal honor, and he delivered himself well in his maiden address, and I dare say that he delivered himself better in his maiden act, which was to make a donation to the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment. It's an appropriate donation in these times. A gift of $100,000 worth of medical and health supplies in general to help St. Vincent and the Grenadines tackle COVID-19. Nothing could be more relevant and appropriate.
Meanwhile, Minister Brown took the opportunity to recognize persons from India who continue to make a contribution in the field of health, while one medical doctor highlighted what has been donated to SVG.
Today, and I see quite a few physicians of Indian descent. And well, in one case, the gentleman who prayed for us in Hindi, he is perhaps not Indian by descent, but Indian. And he is working at the Trinity School of Medicine, as I understand it. And he is seated beside Dr. J. And also Dr. Sinclair Thomas, a former chief medical officer. It so happened that he decided to lay down arms before I arrived in the Ministry of Health. I've been trying to persuade him to take them up again, but I'm reminded that he was also a former Minister of Health, which is true. So we have physicians, we have persons of different professions here as well who have a connection to India.
Augmentin, oral suspension for pediatrics, about 12,000 in number. Levocitrazine, that is an antihistaminic cold medication, that is about 14,000. The metronidazole, that's like an antibiotic, about 8,000 vials. Metronidazole, another strength injections, another 8,000. Ceftriaxone, an additional antibiotic, that is about 8,000. Paracetamol tablets, 500 milligrams, about 16,000. Paracetamol injections, about 8,000. Ibuprofen tablets, about 12,000. Vitamin C, 12,000. Hydroxychloroquine, 10,000. Thermometers, clinical thermometers, about 1,000. Surgical gowns and disposable is 400. Overshoes, plastic disposable, about 2,000. Surgical gloves, about 2,000.
32 youths from the Marion House Youth Assistance Program 2020 successfully completed the final round of Phase 1 program of a mock interview. The Youth Assistance Program constitutes 3 phases. Phase 1 runs from January to July. Phase 2 is where the youths are sent to learn skills between 6 weeks to 8 months. And Phase 3 is where they are sent on attachment. Director of the Marion House, Jeannie Oliver, gave a brief overview of the mock job interview that was done today, which will prepare them for the job market.
The mock interview consisted of a file that had to be prepared by each youth with an application based on the skill that they're going out to learn and the CV that they would have prepared. And members of staff of Marion House, the facilitator for the North Leeward program, the 2 facilitators for the Georgetown program, and the facilitators and staff of Marion House from the Kingston Center facilitated the mock interview. All the youths were interviewed. All the youths were interviewed by Marion House staff.
Oliver said that today is a milestone in the lives of the youths who completed phase 1 of the program and encouraged them to apply what they learned at the Marion House within the past 6 months.
Is to apply whatever values that they learned here at Marion House during the past 6 months as they go to the Technical Institute and after that to the member of the corporate sector. This year we had 4 different areas of skills training: electrical installation, cosmetology. Some of the cosmetologists are employed, so could not have been here today. Soft furnishing and foods. Those are the 4 areas that the youths will go out to learn to the Technical Institute to learn this skill.